Hello.
Welcome. Wait,
Välkommen.
what is going on
Väl,
here? What?
väl, Välkommen. I can't get
What's
a German L. I don't know what a German L sounds like.
why is
Are we not streaming?
well, no, we are, but the current
Okay.
topic is up there and it's weird, like it's not. There we go. Okay, it's fixed.
Oh, there it is now. Welcome to Don't Worry Wednesday.
Yes. All right, cool.
We're in the
I thought,
part.
I was so confident that we were ready, and then I was like,
Oh yeah.
oh well. Welcome everybody to Don't Worry Wednesday. I don't know who's all here. We're gonna find out. If you're here, say something. We'd love to hear
Hello.
from you.
I'm
Oh,
here. I made it.
hey, Static P.
Yeah, the static fee has
The
shown.
Static P has made it.
Hey,
We all here.
Jimmy is here.
Nice. Welcome.
We all here. Oh, we're all here. Okay, cool.
Three
Three
Musketeers.
Musketeers. Oh
That's right.
wow, that's
That's
pretty
right.
tasty.
So I can do the legal disclaimer really quick and then everybody else will miss it.
Oh, is that supposed to be? Is that trickery?
No.
Is that like we can get away with stuff because they don't know that we didn't that we already did the
No, we can't still
disclaimer
get
and
away with stuff, Ryan. Get that thought out of your head. I know you're planning on I know you are trying to get away with stuff.
Oh man, I'm always trying to get away with something.
Hey, Neon's Wednesday.
Hi.
I know who you are. I've seen you.
Oh wow. Wow.
If you're not careful, you're going to be American.
Well, opposite. If you are careful, if you are very careful, you will be an American.
Yes. Like right now.
Wow.
See, I
Fair.
know.
You know
See?
what? Yeah, I guess that goes both ways.
Yep,
Hmm.
it's true.
Literally seeing you right now.
Yep. How
Dang.
fair is that? Like, I don't get to see anybody and when we do this stream. Like,
Hey, I'm here.
okay, fine.
Wow.
I get.
Ouch, Joe. I'm kidding.
That's fine. Go eat some custard with gravy on it or something, because
I've got a malt. That's pretty good. I don't want gravy on it
you don't
though.
want gravy in your malt. Would it be so good? Actually, it
Thinking about this.
wouldn't probably. We were having this discussion.
No, that'll definitely ruin it.
Yes,
I shouldn't have had to think about it that long, but I had to mentally put all the flavors together in my head and then taste it.
sure.
And I did that and I was not pleased.
Okay, well, that's cool. um. So anyway, welcome to Don't Worry Wednesday. This is This is one of my favorite times of the week. Seriously, to get here, I get to hang out with Ryan. I love that time. I get to hang out with all of you in the chat. I love that. We get to talk about, stuff that's difficult. And as difficult as it is sometimes, it's still great. It helps. Hopefully it helps. And I don't know, we just have a good time. I will tell you, we are not professional therapists or psychiatrists or psychologists. We're not a substitute for professional counseling or in any way. But we just want to be here, support you as best we can, and go through some of these difficult things because life is kind of like that sometimes. Did you ever notice that?
Mm-hmm.
Life can kind of smack you upside the head and kick you in the butt and do all kinds of weird stuff, and like kick you when you're down, and it can get nuts. And sometimes when you're in the middle of stuff, it's hard to see the whole picture. But that's why, like, when I am in the middle of something and I bring it to a friend or I bring it to somebody who's outside of the situation, they can see things that I don't because they're not in the middle of it fighting with it, if that makes sense. And so I found that can be really helpful, and that's what we're here to do, is just to kind of help, maybe offer some perspective. If we have anything wise to say, it came from Ryan. I can promise that.
That's right. Everything that comes out of Joe's mouth that's good, you can blame me. No, I disagree, Joe. I think
Okay,
many
fine.
times I say things I'm like, that came from Joe. But
Oh, you
mhm.
know, I think that both goes both ways.
Yeah, we probably both do that. Yeah.
You know, there are
Hmm.
things that, pick up because, we've known each other for a while. And so it's like,
Yeah, probably. Yeah.
kind of how that happens.
Hmm.
But anyway, so yeah, that's what we're here to do. We're here to hopefully have a good time with you guys.
Hmm.
And, honestly, the stuff you guys say in the chat sometimes is the most profound and wise of anything that's spoken on this show,
Hmm.
because you guys are really smart and you guys have also had a lot of experiences, and
Hmm.
we welcome anything you have to say as well. So please continue with that.
Hmm.
Yes. But anyway, yeah. How you guys doing? How you doing, Ryan?
I'm doing really great, thank you. How are you doing?
I'm fantastic. I told you before, I'm in a weird mood. So like we're gonna see what happens.
I think that's fun.
This is
We'll
gonna be
see. Well, if things get weird, that's okay. I
yep.
mean, we welcome it.
Yep.
I I've always welcomed the weird in my life, I suppose. Usually it came from myself though, so it was a lot easier to just accept it
Mm.
because I'm the one that is weird. But sometimes other people are weird, and you're just like, hey, um, just part of the family. Just come on in.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
We're all weirdos here.
Yep.
So if you're gonna be weird today, that's okay by me.
Yep. Be weird. Good to be
Hmm.
weird. What is our topic of the week? We have a few of them, and Neon's Wednesday. I'm so glad you're doing amazing. That's
Yeah,
amazing that you're doing amazing.
that's really yeah makes me really happy to hear.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Um, I mean, you're here, so, and that's amazing,
That is, yeah, that's true. That's true.
right?
Did I
So
disconnect?
what's that? Did you disconnect?
Oh, I disconnected for a second. Looks like I'm back now, so that's good.
Oh yeah, I didn't even notice because you just you had this smile on your face. It just looked like you
Perfect.
were standing still with this smile on your face, and I was like, "See, you do that sometimes, just like that."
Yeah, yeah,
you
yeah.
know?
Yeah, yeah. Sometimes that's the best thing you can do.
Yeah, just
Sometimes life does weird things at you, and the best thing you can do is just sit there and smile.
mm-hmm, mm-hmm. Yep.
I heard today one of the best one of the best rebuttals you can do against a troll is silence.
Mm, mm-hmm.
Hmm.
Yep.
That's true.
But what's the best thing you can do when you come across a hacker in one of Rockstar servers? Because there's a lot of them. I'm at the point where I've just had to Alt F4.
You
That was
just
like
you
the
just
best
need
thing
to
I could do.
type. You just need to type. I report you. Wait,
I
wait,
re-
wait, wait. VR? VR?
Be at it.
Okay, and then you run off and you forfeit the game because you weren't gonna win anyways.
Mm.
And you just make it the best of it you can in the moment. And then you I don't know, maybe you report them at the end.
It's tough because you don't necessarily know who it is. It's just all of a
That's
sudden you're there and you're
frustrating.
doing your thing and then you explode.
Oh, yeah, right. Fair. Yeah.
Or a huge, gigantic woman comes and kicks your butt.
Gigantic
And
woman.
yeah, like I ran into this and I was playing Red Dead Redemption 2 online,
Uh-huh.
and you get into servers and it's so funny because
Yeah.
sometimes just the most random stuff happens, right? And like
Okay.
I'm walking through the woods and all of a sudden this like woman, this old lady who's like 3 times my size just appears.
Great. Scary. All right.
And she started attacking me.
Okay, yeah, horror game for sure.
I was like, what is this? So weird. Call for backup.
It's the giant grim granny.
The giant grim granny.
It's three G's, but you wouldn't know because the first one's J. But
Right. GGG.
Gigantic. The gigantic um, Grim Granny.
So
There
if
you
you
go.
put GGG in the chat, what does that mean? Good, great game. Good game.
Oh,
Good
yeah.
gravy game.
Uh-huh.
Gravy, good game.
You got Gigaing.
Gigaing.
That's a one word with 3 G's.
Gigaing.
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 Gigaing. Gigaing.
All right.
I think it means gallivanting Galahad
Galahad.
Galatians. Yeah.
Oh. Sir Galahad.
Sir Galahad, yeah. He's gallivanting. Graciously.
Graciously gallivanting
Graciously
Galahad.
gallivanting Galahad. That is
Yeah.
what 3 G's stands for.
That's
Yeah, for
perfect.
sure.
Okay, good. I'm
And
glad.
everybody knows
I'm glad
this.
we.
That
I'm glad
everyone
we figured that. Thank you for
just throw
informing
the
me.
3 G's out there. Everybody will know what you
Mhm.
mean.
I'm gonna do that next time I'm in a match where it's like, like if I'm in an Overwatch match or something, I'm gonna put GGG.
Yeah.
3
tell 'em.
G's. And
Yeah.
it'll be Galahad gallivanting graciously.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. Right.
Perfect.
Yeah.
I'm glad we figured that out. We needed to, talk about that.
We did. I'm glad that was a topic that we covered on Don't Worry Wednesday.
Yes. Brilliant.
Fantastic.
All right. And call for backup. Who's
Mhm.
who's calling for backup?
When you're dealing with hackers, they have to call for backup.
Call for backup.
Mhm.
All right. I will remember to do that, maybe. Sometimes it's tough to get in touch with the devs, though.
Yeah. Of course. They're busy.
Yeah. But anyway, so yeah, we have some topics, and we should get to them, don't you think?
Yeah.
All right.
Let's do it.
So, Jimmy, to answer your question, you said what's our topic of the week? We've got a few. I think I said that already. But anyway, so we'll start with this one that is called long distance relationship. And I can already tell how this one's going to go. Ryan's going to talk for most of it. And I'm going to be angry. It's going to be fun.
All right. Sounds fun.
Yeah.
Let's do it.
Let's do it. Cool. All right. So I'm going to put this topic up on the screen. This is called long distance relationship, and it's from Anonymous, I think. Yeah. And so I'm going to put this up on the screen, and I'm going to read it out loud, and then you guys can read aloud while I read aloud.
Oh, really? Oh, really? We're going to do that. Okay. All right, Joe. They can hear me. That's not going to be good.
Oh, well, maybe Ryan, just mute yourself when you read it aloud.
Oh, that's a good idea.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. I'll get it up on the screen for you. This is called Long Distance Relationship, and it comes from Anonymous, and it reads like this. I won't be here when you go over this, and I'm sorry in advance, Joe, but I really need some advice. I've been thinking a lot about long distance relationships, how you keep them alive, how you keep them strong, and how you make something real grow when there's so much distance between you. For some context, I'm a gamer, and I joined a Christian gaming Discord server on a whim. That's where I met Dylan. And honestly, I didn't expect any of this. The only hard part is that he lives halfway across the country. I've heard Ryan's story about meeting his wife online, and it gives me hope, but at the same time, I feel a little overwhelmed because I really, truly care about this man, like deeply, and I'm scared of messing it up. We're both really affectionate people, and physical touch means a lot to us, and sometimes it hurts knowing I can't be there in the ways I want to be. He deserves so much, and I catch myself worrying that I'm not enough because of the distance. We are still in the talking stage, just getting to know each other, but it already feels like it could become something real, something important. We're even hoping to meet in the fall, and I keep thinking about what that could mean for us. I guess I just don't want to lose something that feels this special before it even really has the chance to begin. So,
Mm.
whether it's advice in the chat, through Ryan and his wife, or even from you, Joe, I know you've got a soft heart despite the chick flick moment. I'd really appreciate anything you can share.
Mm.
From Anonymous. And Anonymous, I appreciate you considering me. Romance is always a touchy subject for me. It's a weird kind of trigger, mainly because of my past experiences, and I apologize for that. But that's okay. I think we can do this very well. And Anonymous, I'm sorry to hear that this is such a strain. I know that online relationships can be just as real as in-person ones, at least in your heart. You know, you can develop a really, really strong connection with someone, even not being in their physical presence. And inside you, it's just as real. And in some ways it's deeper and more real because the only thing you're talking heart to heart, you know? And so it's crazy. Now, when you do finally get together and you meet someone in real life, then you kind of start to see how they are and how they walk and how they smell and how they, all that stuff. And then it obviously becomes even more real. But you kind of see each other's quirks a little bit, and that's why, it's good to at least meet in person before you decide to marry somebody, probably. Wouldn't that be weird to get
I
married?
don't know.
Like the day you got married is the first day you met this person because you've had an online relationship the whole time.
I'm sure there are people who've done that. That'd be crazy.
Crazy. But anyway,
Quite the unveiling.
yeah. I mean, I'm happy for you that you're in this stage and that you're doing this. And I'm sorry that like all these doubts are creeping in. Because yeah, I know exactly how you feel. My marriage was long distance for a while. And so I can tell you, like, and we were married and we lived not halfway across the country, but it was like a 3 hour drive apart. For a while. But and that was pretty tough. I'm not gonna lie. But anyway, I'm gonna do the best thing I can. I'm gonna turn this over to Ryan because Ryan has shown. I mean, this when you're talking about long distance, is about as long distance as it could have gotten.
That's actually, yeah. I mean, it could have been. There's no way it could be longer distance in terms of travel or like actual physical distance.
Yeah.
Though one could say that, language boundaries or something like that is potentially more of a distance, but luckily
True.
we didn't have any of that sort of thing. But yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, that's
But as
yeah,
far as like you were on
exactly.
like the opposite sides of the globe
Yeah.
from each other, like
Yeah.
it was crazy.
Yeah.
But yeah,
I don't think
so
you can book a longer flight.
what's that?
I don't think you can book a longer flight.
And you've done those flights numerous times now.
Yeah, yeah. They're rough.
That's brutal, man. Sounds
Yeah.
brutal. I have never been on a plane that long. I think the longest flight I've ever been on was probably 5 hours.
Okay.
And you're
That's
like,
still, I mean, that's
dude,
still a
that's
deal.
nothing. You know?
I mean, I'm thankful for a 5 hour flight.
Right? Because
5 hour flight, yeah,
how
that's
long is the one to
fine.
Australia? Like 14?
Well, no, it's 16.
16.
Wait, is it 14 or 16? Oh, shoot. Nyansai, is it 14 or 16? I don't know. Either way, it's really long. And well, it's like by the time you wake up, you do everything and you get to your landing place and you stop at all the different stops and you go through customs. It's
24 hours with a
I
pit
don't know
stop.
the pits. Yeah, is basically every time we book the flight guide says it's 30 something hours.
And that's total from with your layovers and all that kind of stuff.
That's with layovers and stuff.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Um, so yeah, it's a lot because
Wow.
you can't fly directly where you want to go. You have to get layovers because you're going international and
Mm-hmm.
etc. So
Mm-hmm. Well, and
yeah,
we're in
it's always
Michigan.
mm-hmm.
There's not really very many big international flights out of Michigan. I mean, we could fly internationally to Canada.
The flight is usually 24 to 30 hours with layovers. Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Mm-hmm.
Brutal, man.
Yeah. Yeah.
An entire calendar day of travel.
Yeah.
Like cars and buses and
Mm-hmm.
stuff. Yeah.
Oh yeah. You wake up in the morning and we gotta go like 2 hours by train and then yeah, yeah. Then you wait at the airport for 3 hours and then you go through you land, you go through layovers, and then you finally land at your destination. You gotta go through customs, and then you finally go through customs, and then you get a ride home that takes 2 hours. And by the time
Mm.
you're done with your trip, it's been 40 some hours that you've been awake because you didn't sleep on the plane because you couldn't. And you're just like, wow. And then you land and they're like, people are respectful. They're like, I'm sure you guys want to go to bed and take a shower, but do you want to like hang out? It's like fair. You want to hang out, and I get it.
Uh-huh.
It's like, yeah, I mean, maybe we could go for a meal, but yeah.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Wow. Yeah, that's crazy. But all right, well, I'm going to let you
Anyhow,
speak on
sorry.
this topic because you guys have obviously done it and
Hmm.
done it successfully. So, um that'll be good. So, anyway,
Yeah,
Ryan, take it away.
sure, I'll give it my best. So this is really great, and I think you articulated this very well, Anonymous. I really like the way that you wrote, and um, the way you wrote about this. It feels very genuine and sincere and special, magical. You know, the situation where you're like you don't want to lose something that feels this special before it even really has the chance to be realized or fully felt or experienced. It's very real and very relatable. Um, and I think it's even outside of romance, but especially romance. Um, and I think in
Oh boy.
have to
We
be confident. Oh, we have
we got
connection
some
issues.
freezing going on here. It's crazy. You might have to start like a
Oh
sentence
man.
or two ago.
Oh, okay, yeah, sure. Because I can start a sentence or two ago.
Okay.
What did I last say? Okay. If you like, one of the things that makes or breaks a long distance relationship is confidence in what you're willing to do.
Mm,
You know, if you have confidence in yourself that you and the other person that you will do whatever it takes, like if this is this kind of like when you think about the person, are they the person that it's like, yeah, I'll do whatever it takes, not to have them necessarily, but to make the relationship blossom as beautifully as it should, or it could, or whatever. Because I mean, there's a difference between saying like, oh, I just want to have them as my, significant other, or even just like I want to marry them. I think it's different to say that than to say, you know, to express a real, more true form of love, and that is I'm willing to make sacrifices for them. I'm willing to make sacrifices like without regards to how much they're putting in, without regards to like playing an equal sum game or anything like that, right? Just I'm willing to make the sacrifices that I need to take to make it work out best for them and myself, you know? And that second part's important as for yourself because um this is not just about them, right? A relationship is about both of you and the third person, you could say, that is the relationship itself. So I'd say one of the main things that's important here is that confidence in self that you can make sacrifices. One of those sacrifices is knowing it's going to be a while before you can truly be with the person.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, there's this phrase, quit to what? It's like, that you could express here and be like, well, yeah, but the wait is just the wait. It's like, it's what else am I going to do? Not wait? Like, go for somebody else? No, this is the person, right? So the waiting thing isn't the issue, right? I don't think, like, I understand your worry, but I don't think the waiting is the issue. I can understand that maybe you think, oh, time will go on. And if time goes on without me being able to express love in a more full manner, such as physical touch, just being around them, whatever, that the love will die out and then I'll have lost my chance. I want to tell you, if that happens, you won. You won the game. Why? Because if this is a situation where if that feeling dies out and they're no longer on board, or if your feeling dies out and you're no longer on board, I mean, imagine that's going to happen anyways. Imagine you guys are in a relationship and that happens. Imagine you guys are married and that happens, you know? And then you say, well, then we would work it out. Well, okay, awesome. But are you the kind of person to work that out? Are they the kind of person to work that out? If you believe that they are, then time shouldn't be something you need to worry about. If this is something that you haven't really figured out yet, because you need to discuss with them or discuss with yourself, what happens when the in love, this incredible feeling you're having, what happens when that dies? What do you do next? Do you stay true to your commitments, or do you, if any commitments were made, but you have commitments that you're making right now just by the way that you speak, you've got plans, right? Let's say, and you're committed to those plans. Do you stay committed when that emotion dies out because this person is worth it to you? Do you still see that that person is worth it even without the emotional fluff, right? That's important. So, and if you take that into consideration and you've solved that and you figured that out, and maybe make that something to talk about with them, and you guys have solved that and figured that out, then too long, and then
You
we
freeze
just kind
again.
of sorry.
Still good. It's not your
Am I
fault. I mean,
back?
it is your fault. It's all your fault.
It is
You're
my fault. It
speaking
is my
too much
fault.
good, and they're like, like YouTube's like, there's too much good happening. We got to make it not good.
Yeah. Thanks, YouTube. Always got my back.
Yeah.
Um, with a knife.
Right.
Always get my back with a knife.
Right.
But anyways, yeah. And you're already expressing that, you're already saying that you're going to be hopefully meeting in the fall. That isn't that too far away, and you're like wondering what that could mean for you guys, and that's exciting. And hopefully it means something good. But I think in the way it will mean something good no matter what happens. If it is a cause for a separation, if you guys decide that, okay, this is just isn't, you don't have a chemistry, you don't like the way they smell, they don't like the way you smell, right? Or something, right? Just put it simply, then that's a good thing. Because now you have more, like, now you can carry on with your life and you don't have to spend time chasing something that's just not going to work out anyways. That wouldn't have worked out. And so it's good. I think I don't know. I feel like I'd paint the picture as all paths lead to good and take those paths that lead to good. Obviously, there are paths that lead to bad things, but you just look at them and you go, okay, I don't want to do that. I don't want to do that one. But what I'm saying is, like, take all this information in that you're experiencing and paint with it good paths. Try to figure out what the good paths are from there and why things are going well. And if something bad happens, understand that it's probably good that it happened because it points things out earlier to you in your relationship that you can work out before things go and progress further. A lot of relationship is being with the other person and building yourself and building each other up so that you can grow and not just grow together and grow a relationship, but also grow in an individual level. Because a good relationship, I mean, the best relationships in life, always, are those that make us the best versions of ourselves, right? I've heard it said before, you know, the best teachers in life were those ones that pulled the best out of us, made us the best versions of ourselves. The best kinds of parents, the best friends, the best anything, the best relationships, the best romantic relationships should all be aiming towards something that makes you a better person. Or not just a better person. I can understand, like, oh, they make me a better person, you know, it's a common phrase. But like, really, do they make you the best version of yourself? You know, I mean, Joe can speak as much on his experience as he wants to, you know, but I know that there are times when we are in a relationship and we aren't becoming the best version of ourselves. We're becoming what we imagine they think the best version of us is.
Mm-hmm.
And that can be a long and very horrible road. And so we have to make sure that we're thinking about what's going to be honestly the best for us, making us the best version of ourselves. And that happens. We can really experience that with certain people. And if you're experiencing that with them, then that's awesome. But if it's not, then, you know, obviously you need to kind of figure that out. But it sounds to me like that's kind of your experience here. And so, you know, like Joe was saying, in a long distance relationship is very real. And it's very real because this is happening. You're in an actual relationship where each other's actions and words are affecting one another. That's a relationship. And if you want to make it romantic, that's fine. And that's a good thing. It can be a good thing, at least. And one thing that's kind of really beneficial to long distance relationships is in some lack of physical touch. Well, I don't really need to go into that too much, but you said yourself you joined a Christian gaming Discord server, so on a whim. So I'm gonna go with you might understand that it's probably okay not to have that touch part a little too much, you know, and it's fine. But not that all touch is necessarily sexual by any means, but you know, having those out of the picture completely is probably good. Though I know that that's not always the case, especially on online relationships where communication happens and people have fantasies and so on. So it is what it is.
Mm-hmm.
But at least you can't realize those fantasies, I suppose. So it can be, for some people, a long distance relationship can be a blessing in disguise in that manner, but it can also be something that prepares you to have deeper conversations with people that you don't ordinarily get when you're in the flesh. Most people aren't as expressive in the flesh, on real to real, like being close to them. They aren't as expressive of their inner thoughts as they are online. They might share with you things that they're thinking in their head more online than they will in real life. And so it doesn't mean that they're a different person necessarily than the person you talk to in real life versus the person you talk to online. It just means that you're getting a deeper look or a different look into them and who they are. And that can be a really good thing. And so it's, in a way, a good preparation ground for you on many levels, this sort of online long distance relationship. So yeah, it's very good. And if you see it that way, and you see it as useful and see it as a blessing, I mean, especially because if you're both at your computers all the time, then you can be with each other more in a way. You know, if you were both living in the same house, but you had to go to work, you'd see each other less. Or if you were, you know, whatever. So it's just the way it is. So you can see it as a blessing in a lot of different ways. So my point is, do they work? Are they good for you? You know, what's the kind of stance? I'd say, yeah, they're really great. I'm not saying it's the best route or the only route. It's a fine route. There's many routes to love, and this is a good one. Nothing wrong with it. But anyways, how do you keep it alive? I think it's just engagement, being sincere. You don't have to keep it alive. If it dies, it dies. It would have happened in real life too. And I understand the feeling of like, well, I have to keep it alive long enough that we can be together in real life so that then we can flourish there. And it's like, well, not really. Because if you knew each other in real life, you still have to figure out how you're going to keep that alive the same way. And if you're with each other in real life and you lose interest and you start to go your separate ways, that happens in real life. That I want to call it real. It's not real. They're both real, but you get what I'm saying.
Right.
It happens in the physical. Yeah, it happens in person and it happens online. So it's the same thing. How do you keep them strong? Continue your communications. I mean, especially online, a large part of your experiences with each other will be fully communication, or playing games together, doing activities together. I mean, that's kind of how it is in person, but not exactly, right? Sometimes just your presence being there is something special. Doing something together, even though you're not talking, is something special. Like you're both just like washing dishes or something. And that can add to your relationship in a special way. But that kind of stuff can happen online too, right? You can both like be in a call and just be working on whatever you're working on and not even being saying anything, just kind of experiencing each other's existence and knowing each other's there. And it's a similar experience, at least, that will continue to maintain the relationship. But yeah, honestly, I think you can easily make a lot of real, you want to make something real grow. And I think that's a beautiful way to say that. And I think that on the internet, online, you will make something real grow. You have already been making something real grow. You just need to continue the trend, continue what you're doing, continue what you've already, and I would say the only change I would recommend is maybe considering some of the things I've talked about and having a little bit of more confidence in yourself, that you'd be willing to make sacrifices wherever needed. And if you can have confidence in yourself and confidence in them that they're the kind of person that's willing to make sacrifices, because that's ultimately what's going to have to happen. At some point, someone's going to have to make sacrifices so that you guys can be together, and you both might have to make sacrifices. And that's the way it usually is anyways, even in an in-person relationship. One person leaves their family, the other person leaves their family behind, and you guys have a relationship and a new home together, and someone has to pay for that home, and et cetera, and that's a normal thing. But an online one usually means there's a little bit more distance, so you might have to figure out whose family are we going to be near, and so on and so forth. Or we're not going to be near either of them, and we're going to build our home out somewhere else. You have to make these hard choices and decisions. But if you have confidence in yourself that you can make hard choices and stick with them, then I don't think you have anything to be afraid about. And if you're not sure about them on their behalf of doing that, that's something that'd be worth learning, because that's probably the main factor in all of this. Yeah, I would say that's probably the main thing, because the rest, I think you just do what you've already been doing. It's already growing, and it's already real, and it's already showing signs of realness in the way that do you feel different? Yeah. Okay. Well, that's real. That happened. You can't say that's not real. That happened. So, okay. So they already affected your life. They affected your life. They've used your time, and you've used up your time for them. And I don't mean used as in a bad sense, but you've spent time. That's real. You've spoken words to them. You've typed out words to them. You've played games with them, probably. You've done these things. All of these things are real. And so I would say what you have right now is as real as it can be. And the only thing that you're missing is the physical touch. And I understand both of you are physical touch. That's okay. Here's the question. Would either of you let that, like, if you would say, okay, I am a physical touch kind of person, but if I wanted to be with them for the rest of my life, I'd give that up. Would either of you say that? Would you be willing to say, like, I'd give that up to be with them for the rest of my life? For them and for myself, like for us, I'd be willing to do that for us. Then if you can say that, then I don't see why, like, if you can't say that, then I can see the issue. But if you can say that, then there's no issue. Besides the fact that, I mean, obviously at some point you will be able to experience that because time and motion and sacrifice will get you there. But over time, if you make the right choices, you will be with them. But are you willing to give up for an unknown period of time? Could be like 11 years. You know, are you willing to give up this one form of experiential love so that you can truly love them without that experience? Because love doesn't demand that experience, right? You can love without it. And so if you're willing to do that, then I don't see how that is necessarily a what's the word? I can't think of the word. Anyways, something in your way.
A barrier?
Yeah, okay. A barrier or yeah. Something, yeah. Anyways, we'll go with that.
Okay.
I don't see how that's a barrier.
An impediment?
Right? Yeah, an impediment. The word I'm thinking of is like obstruction or something. I don't know. Obstruction is close, but it's not the word. It doesn't matter.
All right.
It's not something that you need to worry about. But again, if any of these things make you feel uneasy, like, oh, I actually don't think I would be able to like just live without that for that long, well, then that's something you have to ask yourself, why are they not worth it? That's hard to hear, but it's like, is that person not worth the sacrifice of that experience? And it's like, well, maybe they're not. Maybe they're not to you. And it's like, okay, well, if they're not worth that sacrifice, then they're not worth that sacrifice to you. And that should point you down a different road. Or make you consider that some things are worth sacrificing and you kind of have to swallow the pill. You know, you kind of just have to figure out where to go from there. But judging by your very well written topic here, I have to imagine that a lot of what I'm saying is like, yeah, I mean, you know, like you're willing to make the sacrifice, you're willing to wait it out, you're willing to do all these things. You're just worried that it will end because it took too long. And I understand that. And so that's why you want to really try your best to keep it alive. And I think the best thing you can do is continue doing what you're doing, let it stay alive naturally. And if it comes to pass that it doesn't work out, I would say you don't really have time. It's not that time was the problem. It's not that you waited too long is the problem, because you're already talking, like the way that you're talking is not someone who's like got a relationship and they're like, you know, they won't. It's like someone who, you're not like a person who's in a romantic relationship and you will never give that person the ring, and it's just been like 15 years and they're still waiting on the ring, you know, and it's like, come on, why don't you marry me? And you're like, just, you know, waiting for the right time, you know. And in that case, like that's something completely different. But in this case, it sounds to me like you're already doing the right things. And I don't think the time issue is really going to be working against you. It's only going to be working for you, because it will help be one of the things that prove to you that it's absolutely worth it and that this person is worth it. You know, I remember one of the things.
Oh, go ahead. Sorry.
Yeah, I'll just finish up with this. I mean, one of the things that I was with my wife and I moved to Australia for a time, and we had a really rough time because we're like terribly allergic to everything, and I can't stress that enough. But anyways, the fact that I was willing to do that and stay with her when I could have just been in America the whole time, comfortable and healthy, um, really spoke volumes to her, that she felt like, I mean, she could speak for herself how she felt about that, but it's one of those things where it's like some things in a relationship will prove to you that the other person's actually committed and they really are giving you their whole heart and that they love you. And sometimes that doesn't happen. And those things then prove to you that person isn't giving you their whole heart. And if they're not giving you their whole heart, why are they reserving some of it? It needs to be found out. It needs to be looked into and maybe expressed, and maybe your relationship will grow through that discovery, and maybe then they'll learn to give you more of their heart. But then again, it might also go the other way where it's like, okay, time has proven to be too much for this individual to stay on board with me. And it's like, okay, well, that's, I mean, that's proof that that's not the right one for you, because you need someone who is willing to give you their whole heart as you're willing to give them yours, regardless of whatever time or whatever stands in between. Obviously, there are exceptions. I would say if someone is truly evil, uh, really, it's like, oh, am I going to let their evilness stand in between me and their? It's like, yes, yeah, you probably should, like, but time is not one of those things. I can see at some point it might be, but in this case, it doesn't sound like that. Obviously, what you're expressing right now is nothing like one of those scenarios where time is actually that kind of issue. But anyways, that's what I wanted to say. I hope it helps. I mean, at the very minimum, I hope it helps let you feel a little bit more, what's the word, confident and comfortable with a long distance relationship, or at least open to it, so that the idea doesn't get in the way of something beautiful.
Mm.
Right? I don't want the idea of a long distance relationship to get something in the way of something that could be good and lovely and holy or beautiful, whatever. But obviously, always use your discretion and discernment for all things. Anyways, with that, I'm going to give it over to Joe.
Well, I'm gonna end up probably giving it back to you a little bit. I need to ask you to refine something you said a little bit in there, because as I was listening, you said you were talking about something like, would you be willing to give up physical touch forever for this person?
Right.
And when I heard you say that, and I remember reading the topic, and I was like, that's their love language.
Yeah.
Their love language is physical touch. And so what you're saying is, would you be willing to be in a romantic relationship long-term with someone who does not communicate love to you?
Close, but fair. That's a good question. That's a good way to ask. That's a valid thing to ask me.
Mm-hmm. So,
if that's what I meant.
So you're saying, but because you were like, if you're not willing to give up someone who you're in a romantic, loving relationship with, not expressing love to you.
Right. Okay. So to clarify, that's a good point. To clarify, I would say love goes beyond the book. Let's say the 5 love languages being the book.
Mm-hmm.
It does go beyond that. There are the 5 love languages that can be observed. Usually we've got physical touch, we've got time, we've got acts of service, gifts, and words of affirmation. Did I say that one?
I think you got them.
Okay. Wow, that's the first time I went through them that fast. It always takes me forever to get the last one. Okay. And those are the 5 love languages usually mentioned. And I won't argue that there's like more. I think that's fine.
Mm-hmm.
But I will say that if you need one of those, in order to give love, like if you need your love tank filled in order to give love, then there's something fundamentally off with your capacity or understanding of love. What I mean to say is, I don't think it would be absolutely wrong to go into a romantic relationship with someone who admits clearly, I will never give you love the way that you want to be loved, right? Obviously that would be not the kind of person you'd want a relationship
Right. That's not like, that's what I'm thinking. I'm like, wait a second, because I'm like, I know what it's like to be in a relationship where you give and
Yeah,
you give and you give love in as many ways as you possibly can, and that
yeah,
person
and they
will not
never.
communicate love back to you. And I
If
can
that's the
tell you
kind of
that's
relationship
not a
you're in, yeah,
place you want to be.
yeah,
Like, you want
right.
to
If that's the
draw a
kind of
boundary there.
relationship, yeah. What I'm saying, I'm not asking you to like look for someone who is that kind of person and pick them, right?
Mm-hmm.
Obviously not. You have both expressed that this is your love language, so in this scenario, it works out easily for you guys.
Mm.
That's very easy, like super easy for you guys. That's great, right? But I guess what I'm trying to say is this is something that you like because they've expressed it, because they've expressed it as a worry. That worry then stands between them and their relationship.
Mm.
And I'm wondering, is that worry about the physical touch, does that make or break the relationship? So if you imagine you can't have this, does that make or break? Does that decide for you whether you would have the relationship or not? You know, it will help you understand or dissect some of your thoughts and your feelings. Like basically, what I mean is like if you have this feeling of like, well, we can't express this form of love um, for the foreseeable future until who knows when, but eventually, that's the idea is eventually. But that's a scary thought because eventually is when. You know, it's not concrete and it's scary. So that's the thing that they've put as a roadblock. Hey, that might have been the word. Anyways,
Okay.
as the roadblock between them and their relationship. And it's like, okay, so now imagine that's the roadblock. Okay, take the roadblock out. Completely get rid of it. Like, yeah, no, you're just not having that. Do you still see it? Do you see a straight line to them? Or do your eyes advert and just go, no, I need that,
Mm.
right? That's what I'm asking. Because that will help you discern where your mind is at in the relationship. And it's not wrong for your eyes to chase either.
Mm.
It should respect both, right? It should respect both because like as Joe's saying, you don't want to get in a relationship where they don't respect your love languages or they have no intention of making you feel loved, right?
Mm-hmm.
If you're getting in a relationship with someone who has no intention of making you feel loved, obviously that's a huge red flag. You need to get out of there.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, all I'm saying is pay attention to that so you can understand why it's a roadblock and how you can adjust to that. Do you need to like do you need to say, okay, I'm willing to throw that away and keep my eyes fixed on the goal, on this relationship for a time, at the promise that it will come back? Or are you saying, like, well, because there's no promise of it being within the next 6 months or whatever, I can't wait that long. So to me, that's a bit weird, right? To say, well, we know that the idea is we'll eventually be together and that will be easily expressed between us, the physical touch. But, like, 5 years without it, that's a long time. And it's like, okay, well, who were you going to be physical touching in those 5 years if you didn't wait 5 years for him? So
Right.
like, it's like, that's my question. Like, okay, but you could have it in 3 years instead of 5 if you decide to ditch this dude and go find someone else. But you don't know that.
Mm-hmm.
It's all a question. It's
Mm-hmm.
all a big question.
Mm-hmm.
So right now you're in no man's land either way. And so I guess what I'm trying to say is I'm trying to help you figure out I don't think that's a real stumbling block for you
Mm-hmm.
because you don't know either way. And it's okay for it to worry you. Your eyes it should draw your attention. You should look both ways and go, okay, wait. All right, well, here I go. That should be how it is. It's, it's normal. But what I'm trying to say is you should examine it and recognize, I don't think that's a real stumbling block here. I don't think that's a real issue because it's like, what's the alternative? It's like, okay, well, because I can't have it with him and I don't know how long, like 5, 10 years, I'll just say, "Oh, fine, I won't have it with him. I'll just look for people in my area and settle." It's like, hold on, you're gonna settle for someone so that you can have this? That's not good. You don't want to settle for someone just because they are capable of expressing. Like, I've seen that happen, and that's not good either. Like, I've seen people settle for like the lowest denominator that would give them their love language, and they aren't happy because that person's not good for them. They just happen to speak that person's love language, right? What you're talking about in this Dylan person is someone, hopefully someone who you're looking at and it's like, they're the cream of the crop. Like, they're the kind of person that will make my life and their life a beautiful life. They're the kind of person that I can look up to. They're the kind of person I can rely on. They're the kind of person that, is extraordinary in many ways. And they're the kind of person that will love me, right? And that's important. So I don't know. I'm just trying to say, I guess all that is to say, like, yeah. I wasn't trying to say like ditch your own love language. I'm just saying
good.
It shouldn't be a stumbling block in this scenario.
I see. Okay, I just wanted clarification there because in the middle of that really part, you were like, if you're not willing to give this up for the rest of your life, then you're not serious about this person, is basically what I was hearing. Right. And I'm like, no, wait. I must be hearing something wrong because
that was fair because I didn't express that very well. So
okay, cool. And I'm sorry, I didn't mean to call you out, but I was just like, I wanted to make sure we were clear because I'm like, wait a second, I don't think this is what he's saying. But it's not a good thing to sacrifice. I mean, you are going to end up sacrificing for someone you're in a romantic relationship with, right? But to sacrifice core things about the relationship, like, okay, I'm going to love and be with this person even if they don't express love to me.
Right.
Like I would argue that that's not a good situation to be in.
The point of a relationship. Okay, hold on. Like 80% of the point of a relationship is the relationship. And if you have someone who like you look at and you're like, they aren't committed to the relationship the way that I'm committed to the relationship.
Right. That's hell.
Yeah. It's like if their mind can't, it's like, I see this unfortunately a lot of times, but there are a lot of people in this world who do not have really deep friendships because their minds can't make the relationship important enough to be like they can't build a relationship very well. And they keep making all the wrong decisions and all the wrong moves, and they're always selfish because they would rather you both put into the pool of the relationship, and they want to take from that pool and like pull it to them and build themselves off of that pool. And they're like leeching off of that relationship pool to build themselves up. And you're like, what? That doesn't even make sense. Why are you doing that? That doesn't like that's not the point of the relationship. What are you doing? Like, this is like destructive. It's not helpful for either of us, and especially not you.
Right.
But that's what people do. And I see a lot of people do that. So that's a red flag. If you ever see someone who takes from the pool of the relationship to try and attempt to build themselves up, that is
that's the wrong road. That's the wrong path. For sure. I know very well the wrong paths, I'll tell you what.
I know now.
Yeah. Hey, Wix, welcome. And Mianglios, how's it going, buddy? It's good to see you guys. Yeah, Ryan, I'm sorry. Were you all set?
I'm good, yeah.
Okay, cool. Anonymous, I just wanted to say, so I did my quest for clarification in that regard didn't, dissuade you at all or make you feel weird and all that kind of stuff. I hope that, but I just heard that and I was like, oh, this sounds like it could possibly be a little unclear. We better make sure we
Yeah.
clear this. So
Yeah.
anyway, I'm really glad Ryan talked for as long as he did because I don't really have much to say. I'm gonna probably just give some bullet points because anytime I think about romance, I think about bullets because I just want to shoot stuff. And
Well, nice pun.
like seriously, like my son has a girlfriend. And
Mm.
when he's over on his weekends that I have my kids, he'll get on a call with her and they'll be playing games and they'll be doing all their lovey-dovey schmoopy poo stuff, like in a call behind me, and I will put on my best noise canceling headphones and Red Dead Redemption 2 because the guns are really loud.
Because the guns are loud. That's so great. I'm pretty sure there was a Starbound mod that was something like Red Dead guns,
Oh,
and
really?
I was like, "Oh, interesting. I'll get them." And they were just so loud.
Yeah, yeah. The guns.
And I was like, "I gotta, what is up with this?" I had to go into the files and like tone them. I had to manually go into all of the WAV files and like edit them so that they'd be quiet.
Yeah,
It was hilarious. Anyways, I think it was that.
yeah.
It's so funny.
So love makes me have bullet points. Well, romantic love.
Hmm.
But anyway, so, um, but here. I appreciate where you're at, Anonymous, and I'm sorry that this is stressful for you. I know, obviously, it's going to be. It would be stressful for anybody to be in this situation, and I'm sorry that you have to go through this because it's hard. However, it may end up being worth it. Right? We don't know. Like Ryan was saying, we just don't know right now yet because, I mean, but you're in this stage, and Neon's Wednesday said in the chat they're in the talking stage, and this
Mhm.
is that's where you're at, and it's a beautiful stage to be in, right? You're getting to know each other, you're kind of getting these feelings for each other, and you're growing something, and you're getting closer and closer, and that's really really good. It is online, so there are a couple things that you'll have to be mindful of in this situation. One is try to not overthink things too much. It's really easy to do that because right now you're in this planning mode. You're talking, maybe you're talking and planning a future with this person. Maybe, I don't know. And maybe you're going through this, but this is all being created in your head. And so it's going to be
Mhm.
kind of easy to latch on to something and overthink about it, right? Another time when it's easy to overthink is when maybe something happens IRL for them and they can't text you back for a while because they're in the middle of stuff. And so you're not hearing back from them. You might have said something that you thought was really important, but they couldn't get your message right away. Or maybe they read it and you saw that they read it because you're on a communication platform that shows, that they read your message, but they haven't responded because they're in the middle of something or they got to think through it or whatever. That's the time when you might be tempted to overthink and and be like, oh, they don't like me anymore, or they're mad at me, or whatever.
Mhm.
Like it's really easy in online, text based, and like if you're in a VC together, whatever. But in these
Yeah.
relationships, it's really easy to go down those roads. And so I want to encourage you, just relax, take a deep breath. It's okay. You're gonna be fine, and understand. Just let it unfold. Try not to push for it to unfold, if that makes sense. Now, obviously, relationships are work and you have to try. But there's a point when you're trying too hard. I've been guilty of that.
Yeah.
And, people talk about having commitment issues. Ryan talked about these commitment issues. You know, it's been 15 years, haven't gotten a ring yet, blah, 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 right? My commitment issues are I commit really hard. And Ryan watched it.
Oh yeah.
When Ryan met me, I was engaged. And so he watched me. He didn't know me before the relationship I had with my ex-wife, but he knew me before I got married to her. We were engaged, and he was actually, you were at my wedding too, and and saw the whole thing play out. You know, we're, you know, close friends the whole time as my marriage played out, as we had our children, you know, and watched it fall apart, watched it go crazy, watched how the twisting happened. And it was it was crazy. So I don't know where I was going with that. So basically Ryan knows where I'm at and where I'm coming from in a lot of this stuff, right? And I just want to encourage you to relax. Ryan the thing is Ryan knows how hard I commit because he saw how long I was committed for, even after everything was dead.
Yeah. The things you went through, the things you chose to go through, because I mean, you kind of didn't have any other route, other than leaving, and you were just choosing what you thought could be best. Yeah, I mean, it was really rough. And you stuck through it with, I mean, honestly, it's incredible, you know, thinking back on it, because you're always so kind and happy and loving to everybody throughout the whole ordeal, despite the ridiculousness of that trial, if you will.
Thank you. I appreciate that. I tried. And yeah, but like basically that was to illustrate that I have commitment issues. Like I commit really, really hard. And when I throw myself all in, I'm all the way in, and I'm in, and I'm not leaving until, you know, finally everything kind of came to a head, and, you know, it just made a huge mess. But I'm not saying that's going to happen with you, but what I'm telling you to do is relax. Just relax. And when you allow things to unfold as they will, you know, you're on a Christian gaming site. You met this person on a Christian gaming site. So that tells me that God is important to you. And God's got a plan. And it's hard for us to just allow God's plan to happen sometimes, right? Because we got things we want. And so we want to make these things happen. But it's maybe not quite the right time yet. Or maybe you need to learn some stuff, and maybe you need to grow in some certain areas. And there's all kinds of things that are possible, but it's hard to have that trust in just allowing things to unfold and allowing things to play out. And I'll tell you, I know there have come a point for me in a few different relationships that I've had. You know, I haven't had very many, but I remember getting to the point where, you know, I could feel in my heart this was growing, this was getting to a point, and it's like, oh, there's this song by Newgrass Revival. They're like a bluegrass. It's got Bela Fleck in it, and, you know, they have this song, Can't Stop Now. And the you know, it's like, can't stop now. I might be headed for a fall somewhere down the road. I might be headed for a breakdown, but I can't stop now. And I can remember getting to that point in these relationships where it's like, you know, I'm there. I'm in it. I'm, you know, there's no stopping it now, right? Like, I'm in. And every time, you know, it's ended up in breakdown, but that doesn't mean to say it always is that way for everybody. But there comes a point when you're like, you're at that point where it's like, okay, I'm in like the Flynn, come hell or high water, right? Like I'm in. And
Like the Flynn.
what's that?
So like the Flynn.
Like the
Who's the
Flynn.
Flynn?
We are
Is it the
in like
Flintstones?
the Flynn. um, but yeah. So it's okay to just relax. And, you know, just trust. Trust is so hard. It's so hard. Especially when you've been through things, and trust gets even harder. But then to trust that the outcome's going to be okay, that you're going to be okay no matter what happens. No matter what happens in this relationship, it's going to be okay. And I can tell you, no matter what happens in this relationship, wherever it goes, there's going to be joy, and there's going to be pain, and there's going to be good, and there's going to be difficult. And there's going to be all of that involved. Because it's just life. I remember when my buddy got married and I was his best man, and you know, like they had this huge argument at their wedding reception. And the father of the bride was like, "Oh my gosh, they're married less than a day and they're already having marriage problems." And I was like, "Well, of course they're going to have marriage problems. They're married. If you're married, you have marriage problems. If you're single, you have single problems. If you're alive, you have problems. It's just the way life is, right?" So what do you do when you encounter a problem? You try and solve it. You fix it if you can. You know, you work through it. And so no matter what your struggles are right now, you can work through them. And you can grow through them. And even when it's painful, it doesn't mean throw it away. It just means you might have some work to do. You might have some growing to do. And that's okay too. But so my biggest encouragement would be just, it's okay. Relax. I've heard a saying that you can never do the wrong thing with the right person. And you can never do the right thing with the wrong person. Now, that's not entirely true. It's not that black and white. However, I agree with the premise that no matter...
It's a decent general rule.
Yeah, like no matter what happens, no matter what you do, if you make mistakes, whatever, if it's the right person, it's never going to be that bad that it wrecks the whole thing. And if you're with the wrong person, there's no amount of right things you can do to make it work out long term.
That's true.
That's what my takeaway from that. And so I know right now you're in this gray area where it's like, oh my gosh, like, is this happening? Is this real? Is it whatever? And Ryan said it so well. It is real. The things that are happening are real. You're having real conversations. You're spending real time together. You have these real feelings in your heart for each other. It's real. I don't care what a whole bunch of other people will say around the world, you know, like people around us all the time. Like my son who's in a relationship, his relationship is with a girl that's also halfway around the country, halfway across the country. They're probably not going to even see each other in person for a few years. But it's real. And he's got friends, and he's got friends' parents, and all this kind of stuff. Oh, they really, you gotta get in person. Blah, 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 blah. You should find somebody at the school, and blah, blah, blah. And Mav's like, well, everybody at the school is like stupid. So, so I don't want to be with any of those.
Solid reasoning. Wow.
So anyway,
that's great.
So I'm glad you're where you're at. It's an exciting thing to be in this place.
Yeah.
And, you know, I appreciate
You're going to be thankful for it.
Yeah. I appreciate your sensitivity to me. You apologize to me, and I appreciate you saying that I have a heart despite all this. And because I do, you know, and I also have some experience, and that's okay. But I think you're going to be okay. I think it's going to be fine. And so, again, it would just be relaxed. Try not to overthink. Try not to get too caught up in a whole bunch of stuff. Relax. Continue to grow. Continue to pursue your life as it is. And continue to pursue the relationship as it can be. But the one thing I would say don't do is don't lose who you are in all of this. Because that could be, depending on the nature of things, it could be a real temptation there. For you to give up certain core aspects of yourself for another person. I've done that in relationships. Because then, and like I said, if you're with the wrong person, none of that is going to make them the right person. None of you conforming yourself to what you think they want you to be is going to make them the right person. And when it all comes across, you're going to have to relearn who you are. And that's a difficult thing to do too. So continue to be who you are. Because one of the things I learned is that if you change yourself into somebody different for somebody else, are you really giving them the chance to love you? Or are you giving them the chance to love something else other than you? Which is why you should be who you are. No matter how much you want this to work, no matter how much you want this person in your life and all that kind of stuff, be who you are and don't change those core things. Now, it's okay to change, some of your bad habits, and it's okay to change, some of that. Like, I mean, if you have a bad habit of brushing your teeth only like once every month, and they want you to brush your teeth once every 2 weeks, then, I mean, that might be an okay thing to change, right? But that's all surface level stuff, and that's okay, right? Those little things are fine. But I'm talking about core aspects of who you are. If you get to the point where you start changing some of those, then it might be time to look and see, okay, is this the right thing for me? Because when you start changing that stuff, they're not falling in love with you anymore. They're falling in love with who you're presenting to them. And it's not the real you. And eventually, that will cause so much strain on your nervous system because you're not living out who you are. And I believe that the right person should love you for who you are. And I'm not saying this person doesn't. I'm just saying, if this is how it is, if they're loving you for who you truly are, then that's a really good green flag. If you find yourself changing core aspects of yourself, then now we're in more of a glaring red flag situation. Right? So let it unfold. Let it unfold as it will. The timing will happen when it's supposed to. It's okay. It's going to be okay. When you start to feel anxious, when you start to feel uptight about it, relax. Take some deep breaths. You can recenter yourself. Maybe just try and clear your mind. But don't let go of who you are, the goals you have, the dreams you have, the things you want to pursue, the things that make you inherently you. Keep those things. And then let them be a part of the ride of your life, and you become a part of the ride of their life as well. Right? Because then, I mean, I look at Ryan and his wife, and I'm impressed.
He's great.
Ryan hasn't changed who he is. He's still the same lovable guy. I never knew his wife before, so I don't know for sure. I don't know for sure about her. I'm just kidding.
Yeah. Maybe I'm the villain here. No.
Yes.
Yeah.
Ryan's the villain. Can you see?
Mhm.
Look at this guy. Does he look like a villain? Look at that.
Do I?
Look at that face.
What does villain look like? How do I do it?
I don't know. You look like Cole. You look like a combination of Cole and Detective.
I do look like
You
Colin Detective.
you kind of look like if they
Yeah.
were put together into a person, that'd be you.
Yeah.
I look more like the bomber.
Cool.
The bomber with a beard.
Bomber.
Yeah.
Bearded
So,
bomber.
I'm the bomber. So anyway, Anonymous, thank you for the topic. Ryan, did you have anything else to say?
I just want to second what you said. That was really great. I think it's really important to just kind of relax and let it go where it goes. I hope you get to a point in your relationship with this person. I know you're not there yet, and I wouldn't expect you to be. There's a lot to learn and go through, but I hope you get to a point where, I mean, if this is the right person for you, that you get to a point where you just have trust and you're just not even worried about things like this,
Mm-hmm.
and you can just relax because you just like, I mean, it's like so far in the bag, you're not even thinking about it. Um, that's a really nice place to be, and I hope that you can find yourself there where you can trust them, they can trust you, and you can trust the relationship, and you know that it's like it's all good.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Cool. All right, Anonymous, thank you for the topic. And yes, you're amazing. And I know however it's going to work out, it's going to work out, and you will be better for it. Because everything can be turned around for a win.
Yeah.
It's just not always easy to see it sometimes. But even this strain of a time that you're going through can be turned into a win for both of you and for the relationship. I can't believe I just said that.
Wow, Joe. Yeah. Hey,
I can't believe
you're
it.
doing great. Amazing.
Thanks.
Believe it. It's recorded.
Most of the time, I'd be like, the purpose of relationship is to end.
It's really funny because for a second, just like a little small second, I thought you were doing a Donald Trump impersonation.
Oh.
The way that your voice had the raspiness of it and the cadence, and I was like, no, he's just being like the dark side, but that's actually kind of funny.
Nice. You can't really speak on whether or not you changed. You were going through a lot when you started dating. Right on.
Yeah.
It's tough when you're going through a lot. You don't really know who you are sometimes.
I think we naturally all are changing on a constant pace,
Oh,
but
sure.
that's not the exact kind of thing you're talking about. If
Mhm.
you're changing yourself in order to fit into what you think their desires of you are, that just to win their heart or whatever, that's a different thing.
Right.
Yeah.
Yep. But it doesn't sound to me like you're doing that. It sounds to me, Anonymous, like you guys are just learning each other and you're falling for each other. And that's completely normal and natural. So
Yeah.
it's okay.
Yeah.
Yep.
Absolutely.
So, all right, cool. Let's do another topic. What do you say?
Let's do it.
All right. We got another one here from another Anonymous, or it might be the same Anonymous. I don't know. But I like this topic a lot. And well, I haven't read the whole thing, but I'm gonna read it now. So
You like how it started.
Yeah, I like how it
You might
started.
not like how it finished.
Oh boy, we're gonna find out. It's gonna be great. All right, I'm gonna put this up on the screen for you, and you guys can read along with me. This is called Musical Inspirations from Anonymous, and it reads like this. With you both being music guys, could you speak about what got you into music in the first place? And what inspirations you had that informed the distinct sound you both create? I think that would be super interesting. Thank you. Well, thank
Hmm.
you, Anonymous. I
Cool.
I do like this topic now that I've read the whole thing.
Wow. Even the end, you were happy with it.
Even the end. I'm happy with the beginning, the end, and the middle too.
Way to go, Anonymous.
Way to go.
You've done it.
You did
You've
it. I'm so
closed the
proud.
Joe.
Yes. So wow. All right. Um Cal. Uh this is gonna be great. I think, I think we're gonna need to try and be concise because I'm sure each one of us could talk about this
Mhm.
for days. Um,
Yeah.
but so I'm gonna get out of Ryan's way. I'm gonna let him just roll with it, and then see how much time we have left, and then I'll give my little
Yeah.
snippets.
I guess I'll try to keep it quick. It's a good question. Um, I think there's a different answer depending on whether you mean just getting into music in general or getting into music as a career. I would say because the getting into the music as a career was more of a thing I remember because it was like it made music make sense to me. Because it's like, okay, how did I get into music? I can't really remember. I was like 8 and there was a piano and my mom taught it me a little bit and then I just kept playing it and I enjoyed that I could create my own little songs and that I did and I learned to play. Um, and that was cool. But um, I think that's all I could say on that. But as far as like a real inspiration for where to take music from there was conversations generally that I had with Joe about how music trains people in a like subconscious way. It impacts people in a subconscious way. It trains
Hmm.
their mind in
Hmm.
ways how they think. And a lot of people in this world are loose cannons. They write songs about this, that, and the other thing, and it can be good for you, but generally most of it's not very good for you. Um, so we decided to write songs that would be um, mainstream, at least open to the mainstream public, not necessarily overly Christian or a specific culture
Hmm.
or a subculture or something, just kind of broad, and that it would something that could be interesting and maybe thought provocative, but ultimately something that can change the way people perceive the world around them and the way that and some of the habits they form. Because it's interesting when you think about that, because then you can do a lot of good. You can actually make a difference in the world, and no one will even know you did it. People will think things. They'll be like, I don't even know why I think that. I don't even know why I have that perspective on these things, but I just do. And sometimes it comes from music. And so we hope to provide something beautiful like that to people, and that was inspiring to me. And so that's sort of the inspiration that um, caused me to go, you know what, I'm gonna pursue this music thing because it's beautiful. It's a good thing. And I think it goes deeper than that, but that's that's pretty much how to say it in a succinct way.
Hmm.
But as for the distinct sound, I'll have to think about that. I mean, I have actually some good answers on that. But anyways, I'll give it over to Joe so he can do his part one.
Oh, that was really
'Cause that was
fast.
quick.
That was
I know,
faster
I
than
was
I expected.
faster than I could
I
represent
was trying to have
anything.
some time to think, and you
I
gave me
haven't,
very
wow.
little.
I don't think I can drink water that fast. That was quick.
Yeah. Nice. Thank you, Ryan. And yeah,
You're
that
welcome.
was, as far as I can agree with Ryan that, like he and I had some really, really good conversations that really kind of shaped a lot of how, I thought about things and how, like, what type of music to create, what type of music to produce. As far as getting into music, man, I can't even remember a time that I wasn't into music. From my
Mm,
earliest memories, I was banging on boxes in the garage.
mm.
My parents' garage, right? Like I'd grab sticks from outside because I didn't ever have drumsticks. And so I'd just grab some sticks from outside, I'd set up some boxes in the garage and I'd start beating on them like they were drums.
Nice.
I'd set them up like a drum set, you know. And I'm like 3 years
That's so
old.
fun.
Yeah.
That's awesome. That's great.
And it's just something that I couldn't really shut off, like
Mm,
no matter like I had tried, because growing up, you always hear, and out it's not the same. We both grew up in the Midwest where, you
yeah.
know, school and a quote unquote legitimate career is like the thing you need to do, and blah 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 blah. And so like, and you have to go to college and you have to make sure you do good in school and get really good grades, or else your life is ruined. And like that was kind of the program, whatever. And music, I remember talking to my high school guidance counselor when he asked me what I wanted to do for a living, and I said I wanted to be a musician, and he laughed at me. And and then he figured out I was serious. And, then he was like, well, then I guess you need to go to college and major in music. And then I learned that led you to the point of being a band director. And I did not want to be a band director. That's not what I wanted
It's
to
like
do.
I'm not going to college just so I can stay in college.
Right, exactly. This is
Yeah.
crazy.
I'm not going to school so I can stay in school.
Yep. But I don't know. I mean,
Yeah.
I just fell in love with it. And it's one of those things where if you want to get good at music, and I've gotten pretty good at a lot of different instruments, and it's because I liked them enough to just lose myself in the playing of them and the learning of them and the practicing. And because people will talk about, oh man, you're so good at drums, you're such a good player. I remember a good friend of mine when I was just starting college, he said, man, you're such a good player. And I'm like, well, thank you, I appreciate that. And but people will say that, and then they'll be like, oh, I don't know how you could get to that point, you just have this natural talent. And I'm like, I didn't feel like I was naturally talented. I just loved it enough to do it long enough to get good at it. Because all it takes to learn, it's the same as just about anything. If you want to learn how to play the drums, you need to practice drums consistently for years. Consistently meaning like daily, or at least like 5 days a week, for it doesn't have to take like super long. You don't have to be like 6 hours a day. Although sometimes when I was preparing for certain auditions or stuff, or for big performances, I would practice 6 hours a day without breaking a sweat. Well, actually I was sweating. But easily. And the time
I'm so good at sleeping. I'm terrible at sleeping, man. I do need practice.
Good on you, Wix. Yes.
Way to go.
But really, that's it, And so, for me, it was just like I loved it enough to do it long enough to get good at it because it was fun for me. And I remember a friend of mine, we had this dream. He didn't know how to play he played the trumpet in band, right? But he was like, I really want to be a guitar player. And so he's like, he bought a guitar, and but he fell in love with the idea of playing the guitar. But he didn't fall in love with playing the guitar. He fell in love with the idea of being a guitarist, but not falling in love with playing the guitar. Meanwhile, I didn't have a guitar, but my mom had a baritone ukulele. That was when I was I think I was 14. And a baritone ukulele is tuned the same as the highest 4 strings of a guitar. And I was like, I just started learning how to, I grabbed a little book that she had with different songs, and the chord charts made sense to me. I was like, oh, you put your finger here, and then you strum, and it's a piece of cake. And so I started learning how to do that. And I had rhythm because I'd already been playing drums forever, and I'd, whatever. And I'd been taught to play with a metronome. I learned piano so I could play drums in school. That was a requirement in the school that I was in. But so I had some basic music knowledge, and then I just picked up that baritone ukulele and I started learning it out, started learning some fingerings. And then when I finally borrowed a guitar from someone, I was like, oh, these are basically the same, except for now I have just 2 extra strings, and that's most of the time just one other finger. sometimes two, and so then I started learning all these chords on guitar. And so within like a year, I had surpassed my friend who was all about being a guitarist. And he just looked at me like I was a jerk, like, oh man, these things just come naturally to you. And I'm like, no, it's that I enjoyed it. And I enjoyed it enough to keep doing it for a long time and to learn it. And I fell in love with it. And so then by the time I graduated high school, it was like, oh, this multi-talented, multi-instrumentalist guy, blah, 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 blah. He's kind of like a prodigy. I'm like, no, I'm not a prodigy. I just
great.
really enjoy doing it.
Mm.
It's like I watch my son. He's into basketball. He loves playing basketball. And he's really, really, really good at it. He's clearly in his grade at his school, he's the best. His coach that coached him this last year said, yeah, he's he other than one other player, he's the most skilled player that I've ever coached. And the only reason this other kid is better is because he's older now, right? But it's not that basketball just came naturally. It's that he loved it enough to just do it and do it and do it and do it and do it. And he's always out there shooting baskets and he's doing dribbling drills and he's learning all this stuff and he's doing it because he loves doing it. And so really, in my mind, that's what it takes to get good at something. It's not that, I got into music because I loved it. And I loved it enough to put in the time consistently enough to get good. And it's really that simple. But inspirations that inform my distinct sound, I'll tell you what, depends on the instrument. On drums, probably Red Hot Chili Peppers. I listened to a lot of Red Hot Chili Peppers and played along. So I have a very Chad Smith-esque style of drumming. But then there are others that I'd listen to too. On guitar, usually some kind of heavy, funky stuff. 311 was always a pretty big influence for me too. But so my distinct sound is shaped by the music I enjoyed listening to, I guess. I see that in Ryan. Ryan enjoyed power metal, and a lot of the first songs that I heard Ryan write were power metal songs.
Yeah.
Yeah,
they're pretty good.
So it's it just kind of is like that. But anyway, now I'm going to turn it back over to Ryan.
Sure.
No, it's your turn again. Back to
some of the things you said.
Back to the P.
Yeah, it's interesting because you said I'm a music guy, and that's kind of fun. Mm-hmm. But it's like, yeah, but I'm not. But I am, but I'm not. People that are into music differently than other people. I remember I grew up with this, not really grew up. I really only met him in high school, but for like the last 4 years of high school or my schooling, there was this kid I knew, and man, he was into music. He didn't play anything. He played the trumpet I think he played it for 2 years and he kind of gave up on it. But man, he was into music. Like nobody was into music. Like this kid was into music.
Like listening to it?
He would listen to everything. He would remember everything. He would memorize bands and places they'd gone. He would remember, he was just into everything that was music. And you could see it, and he's just feeling it. Like when music was played, he was like sucked in, and he was just locked in. And it's like this kid and music, it was just like, whoa, this is a guy who likes music. And it was funny because I remember there was a year I ended up going to it was some kind of camp during summer. It was not like a band camp. It was like some kind of religious deal. And and they were asking us about music, and they're like, what kind of bands do you listen to or whatever? And I was like, I don't really listen to music. Everyone looked at me like I was crazy. And they're like, what do you mean you don't listen to music? And I was like, I don't know. Anytime I just want to hear music, I just go over to the piano and play it, I guess. But
Yeah.
like, I don't know. What's it to you? Why is it weird that I don't listen to music? I just don't listen to music. It's like whatever.
Uh-huh.
Um, and I mean, that stuck with me because I was like, wait a minute, am I a music guy or not? You know? And the answer is, of course I am, but I'm not in the way that like I'm not like a big lover of music like some people.
Mm-hmm.
But like Joe said, I enjoyed playing,
Mm-hmm.
but I'm not so in love with playing that I like want to be the best or even necessarily even want to master the instrument or even it's just like I learned the piano because it was something that I could do that I enjoyed. But more so, I think I enjoyed the piano because it allowed me to create something.
Mm-hmm.
Because whenever I sat down at the piano, I would basically do one of two things. Well, three things. One, I would work on my techniques. Sometimes I would work on my techniques, like, you know, uh, hand jumps and skips and fast playing and so on and so forth. But other times I was either writing music or I was trying to play something I heard by ear. And those were the two things that I did. And so, and that's really interesting because my brother also played music and he played the clarinet. I played the alto saxophone and the piano. And he was really good. You could give him like this literally happened. He went to a exposition where they judge you on your performance and they gave him a piece of music to play that he had never seen before. It's called sight reading. They give him a sheet of music and say, you've got like 1 minute to look it over, and then you're gonna play it for us. I did miserable at those things. I
Me
was
too.
so bad.
Me too.
I can't, yeah, I can't do that. I'd like, because I could barely read the music they give us in school. What I did instead was I just listen and I memorize, and I'd memorize by visual memorization, visual sound memorization. Like I would see the piece and I would look at it and be like, oh yeah, I know the sound that accompanies that visual. But I wasn't reading the notes like most of the time. If I did, I would read them very slowly and carefully, and it would take me a long time. I'd be like, okay, that's this fingering. Okay, that is 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, down, down. Okay, there we go. That's that fingering.
Uh-huh.
And I would memorize that. And then I'd play it back at the right tempo and be like, I can just memorize the sound.
Mm-hmm.
And then I memorized the sound to the shapes. No, I didn't read music, okay? Very well. And so, but my brother, wow. They like literally it happened to him. They gave him this music to play. He looked over it. He starts playing it, and it's beautiful. And he finishes, and the judges are like, "So you played that like you had that as your solo and ensemble like music piece last year, right?" And he's like, "No." Okay, the year before that? It's like, "No, I've never seen this piece." They're like, "No, you are lying to us. Stop lying." And he's like, "I've never seen."
Classic band director form, right? Like you're
Yeah,
lying.
you're lying. And he's like, "I've never seen this piece."
No offense on band
And
directors. It just was the experience I had.
yeah. And so, and like that's how good he was. He would blow judges away with his performance of seeing something for the first time. And but then he went into a class where he had to write music. And he was like nothing he just couldn't write anything that was like satisfying.
Mm.
And he was like, Ryan, how are you doing? How do you write yours? Because it's good. And you know, I was 2 years younger. I was barely writing anything at the time, but you know, and I was just like, I don't know. But I do know is because I had always been doing that.
Mm.
You know, like what I mean is like I didn't have any pieces to show for it, but I was always playing around with the piano, just playing dilly-dallying, seeing what would sound good together and enjoying that process. Um, and to answer the second question, that's kind of part of why I sound the way I sound. The sounds that I have when I create music. There's so many different ways of writing music. Some people um, will write the entire start to finish drum line, and then the entire start to finish guitar line, and then the entire start to finish bass line. Some people do that. Some people start with a guitar, and depending on what instrument you pick, wow, it really changes a lot, like
Yes,
Joe
it
was
does.
saying.
Yes, it does.
Yeah, but and then and I see other people, like there's lots of different ways people write. Some people are all over the place. They go back and forth, and so on and so forth. Some people are really just open and dynamic, like they're working with someone, or they're just kind of improvising on the spot, and then they like something that they did, and they'll use that, And I see all sorts of different processes. Um, I I was always I really liked the retro video game music growing up that I got to hear.
Mm-hmm.
So, and that's made in Japan, a lot of it. Some of it's made by Germany and some of it's made by America. So it's all over the place. I mean, but I take a lot of inspiration from old retro video games, power metal, some pop, and some just various forms of different genres that I enjoy. I really like big band and so on and so forth. So when I write, I just kind of take from I just pick many different spices and put them together into a nice soup and enjoy it. And but when I write in a weird, like I would call it like bricks or block style, where I'll write a small segment of a song and then I'll build it up to the top or close. Like maybe I'll build it up like halfway or all the way to the ceiling. And then I'll do the next section and I'll build that all the way up. And then I'll work on them to make them kind of integrate a little bit better. And then, and then I'll listen to them like 40 times or 400 times. Then I'll be like, that inspires me for this next section. Now I got it. Now I know what I'm going to do. And then I'll write this next section. And that's kind of how I do it. I tend to write like stacking bricks rather than laying a foundation for the whole song and then working on that. So that's why my music ends up being rather, I think, you can hear the sections
Mm-hmm.
and they're distinct sections, and hopefully that is enjoyable. I've always really liked songs that had sections. Growing up, I've always been more interested in songs that aren't too repetitive and songs that, they have clear, not necessarily disorientingly different sections. I've never enjoyed that. But if a song is like, okay, I'm gonna do this for a time, and then I'm gonna switch it up and do this for a time, and then I'm gonna switch it up and do this for a time, and then I'm gonna go back and you're gonna hear it again, but it's gonna be different. It's gonna be layered this time or whatever. I always like that. So, and people can get there from many different ways, but that's how I ended up writing. So that's the best that I can give you there. Yeah.
It's funny because Ryan was describing how I write music,
Mm-hmm.
which is the other way.
Yeah, that's right. That's
Like
right.
I'll usually start with a guitar and,
Mhm.
I'll write, like a song start to finish on a guitar. And then it's like, okay, now I need to put a drum part to it. And then I can put a bass part to it. And then I can put, whatever. And, some
Mhm.
vocals. And vocals always come last because vocals are the hardest for me. And,
Me
like the
too.
lyrics.
Mhm. And
And
Steve writes in the band session.
mm-hmm. Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. And it's crazy. It's everybody's kind of got a different style, but I think
Yeah.
one of the
Yeah, I don't know. I
common
just want to say,
threads
like, oh, sorry. Go on.
one of the common threads that I see in all musicians, and I see it in myself, I see it in Ryan, and it's that we just really enjoyed playing, you know?
Mhm.
Like, I mean, I enjoy listening to music. I can listen to lots of music, but it's so funny because I became a music major and they're like, you don't know who this one performer is from whatever,
Yeah.
like you're a music major. And I'm like,
Mhm.
yeah, that doesn't mean that we study the history of music from 1950 to 1990, like no, I'm busy practicing.
Mhm.
Like I'm not and and really when I was a music major in college, it was like that's what I spent most of my time doing was in the practice room practicing stuff. And I loved every minute of it. And
Mhm.
even times when it was frustrating and I was like, I can't get this part quite right,
Mm.
you know? And you'd sit there forever just going over these one or two measures, you know, and you're just
I feel
like
that. Yeah.
trying and try, and it's like I'm not getting it right. I'm not getting it right. And you know, but then you get it and you're like, yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Like
Yeah.
I remember the day when I was playing drum set and for the first time, you know, my right foot could do something different than my right hand. Like it didn't have to play at a time when my right hand was playing, you know, cuz like it was always like, you know, my right hand was always it's a straight beat. Da, 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 da,
Hmm.
you know, and so it's like so all the bass drum hits had to hit at some point when my right hand was hitting,
Hmm.
right? And I remember the day. I remember what my room looked like. I remember it was like sunny out, but it was evening, so it was kind of orange light coming into the window, you know? And I remember that moment when I was able to separate my right foot from my right hand where it could hit when my right hand wasn't doing something. Does
Hmm.
that make sense?
Yeah.
And that unlocked a whole new world.
Well, yeah. That's great. That's awesome.
but it but that whole process of learning, I loved every moment of it. Just like
Yeah.
Ryan talked about with piano, he would sit down at the piano and he enjoyed playing.
Hmm.
You know, like Steve with guitar, he enjoys the guitar so much. He'll
Hmm.
he'll just play scales and he enjoys it.
Oh, yeah. He loves that.
Sounds kind of
It's
boring.
great.
Now I know some musicians who were kind of forced into it and they're really good players, but they don't really love it.
Hmm.
And so they never take it very far. They never go very much farther than when they're not being forced to do it anymore. They're still really good and they can still sit down at the piano and they can still play, you know, amazingly, right? But if they didn't love playing, you know, you can kind of tell.
Mm.
It's mechanical. You know, it's mechanical, it's rote. It's like just whatever. So,
Yeah.
anyway, yeah. I think probably, you know, something similar is for most musicians, the thing that got them into music was a love for playing or singing, whatever it
Yeah,
was.
I think so.
They just
Hmm.
loved it enough and enjoyed it enough that they just were able to do it for a long period of time. And to me, I see the same thing with artists. I see the same thing with people who do visual art, the people who draw really well, you know, because that's a skill that takes so long to learn. I see it
Hmm.
in, like I told you, my son with basketball, you know. Oh, sorry. Neon's Wednesday does not love drawing. Even though, dang it, you're so good at it. Now you're making me
Yeah.
mad.
Well,
Okay.
you do. I think it just depends. I see you
So then
doodling
why
your
so
things
then
that are
why
pretty
do you
cute.
do
It's
it?
good.
Then why do you do it if you don't like it? Because I can actually, you know what? I can see another way. You have it in you so much that you have to do it or else you go crazy. That's kind of
It's like, wow, yeah. Just gotta get it out of me.
I
I
mean,
gotta get
seriously,
in.
if I don't
Yeah.
play drums for like a week, I
Mm.
notice it in my mood.
Mm. Interesting.
Oh, you saw someone else doing it online and thought, yeah, I could do that. It looks easy. It could be my job. Wow. All right. I know it's not
It wasn't
easy.
easy.
You should see how I draw. It's like gut wrenchingly painful, and what I create is also painful, like painful to look at.
Wow.
You should have picked something else.
Yeah.
Hey, you know what though? I got to tell you, you're really good. I've
Mm.
been more than impressed with everything that I've seen you do. If you're gonna struggle, you could have at least picked something you liked.
Yeah. Yeah. You still have time in life, you know, you don't have to commit to drawing.
Yeah. I mean, yeah. I'm gonna probably have 17 more careers before I die at
That's
the age of 273.
how you gonna only live 273, man? You've already been around for at least like 6,000 and then or more. And then
Because numbers
or
work
29 the whole
differently
time. Fair
in
enough.
my world, which is interesting. You know what? You know what? Like, okay, I wonder. We've got all these different measuring systems. You know, we've got the inches and feet and stuff, and then there's the metric system that the rest of the world uses. We got Fahrenheit that we use in the United States, and everybody else uses Celsius.
Both of them gotta
You know,
go. Both of them are bad.
both Fahrenheit and Celsius.
Yeah, no, they're both dumb. They
Celsius
both
makes
are
more sense to me than Fahrenheit.
that makes sense that it would make more sense.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
Because it's
I
like,
think
okay,
that the
water
way,
freezing, water boiling. That's
yeah,
0 to 100
0 to 100, yeah.
Kelvin.
Yes,
There is,
Izanagi, we need to drop him for Calvin. And the reason is because Calvin's the only one that's actually like mathematically and physically like based in a way that you can actually like you can't take Fahrenheit and double the temperature and it be twice as hot. You can't take Celsius and double the temperature and it be twice as hot. But
well,
you can take
now you're
Kelvin
measuring
and double
decibels.
it. Well, decibels is that's fine. That's but decibels is
It's also
sound.
weird, right?
Yeah.
It's measuring sound pressure levels, right? Like,
Yeah, yeah. Man, decibels are yeah, that's an interesting one too. But at least that's kind of like you can do math with it,
well, here's the point I'm making with
but you
this,
can't do
right?
math with Celsius and Fahrenheit.
Different places of the world use different systems of measurement,
Mm. Yeah, yeah.
right?
Definitely.
Why didn't somebody invent a different one for time?
I think we did.
Did we? Minutes and
Yeah.
seconds and stuff?
Oh yeah.
Like, I'm going to come up with my own. I'm going to divide the day up into like 20 instead of
Well,
24, or I'm going to divide the day up into 10 because we're going to just do it 10. And we're
well,
going to
we
do,
did have things like that, but then like Rome came and they kind of standardized stuff before they fell apart. Oh, just after they fell apart, some of it came together with the time dates, but a lot of it was kind of established around that time that, hey, you know, we should all use the same time system. And everyone was like, okay,
well, I'm like,
maybe two
if we're
seconds, I
just gonna
guess.
confuse the world with all these different measuring systems, we need to
I know.
I'm gonna make my own measuring system where I'm always 29 because it's just the truth. And I've been,
It's convenient.
it's
It's easier. Come on.
right.
Yeah.
12 is the perfect number. Well, 7 is also a perfect number.
And so is 8. 8 is the number of perfection. Yeah, because I'm not even joking. That is actually legitimately. So 7 is the number of the covenant, 8 is the number of perfection. 12 is the mathematical perfect number because it's like you can divide it by 3 and 4
There's
and
a lot
get
of
real
perfect numbers.
numbers. Yeah, there's a lot of numbers that are just perfect.
29, the perfect number.
29 is not the perfect number. I'd say. I think it's more like a different number. Because 29 is a really hard number to do math with, man.
It
Like,
is, man. You can't divide it by
divide's
anything.
perfect. Yeah, I know. It's just like, hey.
Except 1.
What? Imagine every cycle starts over at 29. I mean, goodness gracious, like minutes instead of 30, it's 29. We got 29, what's your system called? Okay, 29 seconds in a 29 hour in a 29-hour day.
Well, I mean, they
That
kind
doesn't
of
work
did
out.
that with frames in video. Because
Yeah, you're
even that's
right.
been
It was
divided
so,
different, because in the United States it's 30
yeah,
and
yeah. That made no sense to me.
in Europe and the rest of the world it's 25.
Yeah, they did 25 point, it's 25 point something. It's like 25.5 or 25.89. I don't know. And I was just like, Why would you do that? Why is that a thing? No.
I know.
Pick a number.
It's
It's
crazy.
like a regular number. I think actually in Europe it's 25. Then there was like this, there was another thing that was like instead of 30, it's 29.9 or something. And it's like, why is that?
Silly.
Yeah,
Silly.
so silly.
Yep. But yes, there's lots of perfect numbers.
Lots of perfect numbers.
I agree. Yep. 1 is the perfect number.
What 29.9 slices of pizza?
Well, who's getting that other 0.1 slice of pizza? Is that for Ryan?
There's no other
Ryan
0.1, man. That's how it's divided up.
Oh.
Every slice is 29.9. And if you can't figure out how that math works, then you don't know math like we know math. Our math system is on a 29.9 scale. We don't need 100% to be 100% sure that we're right.
Right. We're gonna make up our own numbering system. And from that, that's gonna come up with all new measuring systems because it's a whole new numbering system, which is the basis for measuring systems.
This is getting uncomplicated. We are unraveling.
We're unraveling the universe, actually.
Yeah. We're decomplicating
Awesome.
things. You guys just don't know it.
Yep. Enjoy. As soon as we unveil all of this. But cool. Well, all right. Thank you guys for the topics. It has been a fun Don't Worry Wednesday. And yeah, it's time to about wrap things up. But we love you guys so much, and we're so glad to spend this time with you. We'll be back next Wednesday. So if you have any topics, we never said where to go to submit topics. If you have any topics, you can go to don'tworrywednesday.com, click the submit a topic button, and write it out, and then we'd be happy to talk through whatever it is you'd like us to talk about. If you'd like us to expound on the numbering system that we're going to invent, we'll talk about that too.
Wow. Yeah, we're open to suggestions. This is the time to do it.
Yep.
Now that we're making it.
Everything is hen.
Yeah, hen.
Hen.
Yeah.
Hen. 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 Hen.
Wow. So much less confusing. So much less confusing than like all of these sounds like 1, 2.
I know, like what the heck,
3,
like what even is all that?
Why all the sounds? Just make it so much easier. Just one sound. We only have to learn one sound.
Right. Hen. And you have to say it properly.
You have to say it properly though. You do have to say it properly for each distinct hen.
Anyway.
Unraveling. Indeed.
Thanks for putting up with us.
Thank you, Mianglios.
Yes, thank you. We will see you guys next week on Don't Worry Wednesday. Until then, take very good care of yourselves and the people around you. And we love you. And come back next week when we'll be here again. We love you guys.
Bye now.
Bye-bye.
Peace.